Good evening, Jets Nation. Welcome to the Jude Jets Show. And in our first game of the season, the New York Jets are able to win against the inner city foes 12-7, and here are my thoughts about the win. Before we get into my thoughts of the win, here's a quick recap of the game. So on our very first drive, Zach Wilson leads the New York Jets all the way into the red zone. Sadly, we don't come away with a touchdown, but Chris Nager does nail a 30-yard field goal to give us 3 points, and that is the only points either team scores for the rest of the first half. The first half was, in fact, pretty boring. Zach Wilson did play the entire first quarter and one drive in the second, but after that, he was out. Now, the second half was much more energetic than the first. Michael P. Ryan scored a touchdown halfway through it. Kenny Yeboah did fumble towards the end of the fourth quarter to give the Giants really good field position, which set up them scoring a touchdown to kind of cut the lead to pieces, and I was kind of nervous we would not come away with the win, but we do. And towards the very end of the game, Jonathan Marshall and Hamilcar Rashed Jr. sacked quarterback Clayton Thorson in the end zone for safety, adding 2 points to our score, which is why we won 12-7. Now, as I said, Wilson played the entire first quarter. He completed 6 of his 9 passes for 63 yards, didn't throw any touchdowns, and also didn't throw any interceptions. So overall, a good performance by the quarterback. Now, in his first NFL game ever, Wilson was very calm, cool, collective, and threw a lot of sharp and accurate passes. Pretty much all of his passes were sharp and accurate. I was surprised with how good Wilson played in his rookie debut. He looked like a veteran quarterback out there. I was not expecting a rookie QB to be that calm in his first ever NFL game. My favorite play from Zach Wilson today has to be that 16-yard pass on 3rd and 13 on the second drive of the game. Keelan Cole was not open, but Wilson manages to throw a rocket into a tight window and complete the pass to Cole. That right there is a good omen for good things to come in the future. So overall, I was definitely impressed with Wilson in his first ever NFL game. Now let's talk about the rest of our quarterbacks, because it was a preseason game and more than one played today. So Mike White played a majority of the game. He threw for 127 yards, led the New York Jets down the field for a touchdown, and looks like he's going to be our backup quarterback this season based off of what happened in today's preseason game. James Morgan also got some reps but did not play as good as Mike White. He had a solid game, but was not as good as White. Now let's talk about how our running backs played. So Ty Johnson and Michael Carter played or started for majority of the first half. They had a total of 55 yards together, and they really looked explosive. A breath of fresh air from how, our running backs played under Gase. They pretty much were just runs right up the middle, but under Salah, we're going to see a lot of explosive runs, counters, sweeps, all that type of stuff. And once Tevin Coleman gets back into the mix, I don't know why he didn't play tonight, but he just didn't. But once he gets into the mix, this, starting trio of our running backs is definitely going to be something to watch this season. And we also have the weakest strength of schedule among all running backs this season. So yeah, definitely draft New York Jets running backs in your fantasy leagues this season. And Michael P. Ryan scored our only touchdown of the game, but he pretty much didn't do anything else than that. Now let's talk about our receivers. So Corey Davis is going to be a safety blanket for Zach Wilson this season. In our first preseason game, we learned that. He's going to be what Jamison Crowder was for Sam Darnold, but better. So it's pretty safe to say Corey Davis is going to be a good signing for the New York Jets. Now, Denzel Mims had 3 catches for 51 yards today and looked like a man against children playing against those Giants backup cornerbacks. His performance today definitely should earn him some reps with the first team. And same thing goes with Vincent Smith. God had 3 catches for 39 yards. Definitely impressed me. I did not expect him to play that well, but he did, and hopefully Denzel Mims and Vincent Smith both get reps with the first team in our preseason game against the Packers next week, because they definitely deserved it. Now let's talk about how our defense played tonight. Very good. Our defense was very good tonight. We held the Giants to a total of 163 yards. We forced a fumble from them, had 5 sacks, and we had a safety on the Giants tonight. Our defense was just phenomenal today. I mean, when our first team D was out there with the Giants' first team offense, I mean, they couldn't breathe. We were just suffocating them every single play. Our defensive line is just so dominant, it's going to wreck all of these poor offensive lines in the NFL. And we play a lot of those this season, which is why us having a weak secondary really is not going to matter a whole lot, because we saw it didn't affect us much in today's game at all. I mean, the Giants didn't throw deep at all in today's games. I mean, mostly because our cornerbacks were locking up the receivers and because they never had time to throw deep or pretty much throw the ball at all in today's game. So, a very good performance by the defense. Now, I'm going to highlight some guys who had solid performances. So Bryce Huff had 2 sacks. Hamilcar Rashed Jr. had 1.5 sacks. And Jonathan Marshall had 2 half sacks, which resulted in 1 sack. And they both contributed to the safety. And Hasman Azardine and Jamie Sherwood were balling out today. You know, they're going to be the steals of the draft this year. I'm telling you. I mean, they played very good today in that versatile, Swift Army knife role that they're going to be playing this season. Well, that's my thoughts on the New York Jets' first game of the season and our first win of 2021. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by hitting the subscribe and like button. Check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Jude_Jets. Comment down below what you thought of today's video, and if for some reason the comments are turned off, just hit me up on my social medias, and I'll see you guys later. And I'm your host, Jude, signing off for now. See you later.